What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Football Busters. Today is Tuesday, December 27th. Hope you guys had a great holiday season. And if you're watching this and you're still looking for fantasy football advice, congratulations because you've made it to the Fantasy Football Championship in most leagues. I know some leagues out there play Week 18, kind of nuts. But I digress. Congratulations for making it this far. And yeah, we're going to keep on chugging out through the season, same as usual. You may notice that Eric is not here. He's also feeling under the weather again today. So make sure you guys drop down in the comments below. Get well soon, Eric. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into these injuries and news real quick. We're going to make this as quick as we can, not really drag it out. So first set of news we got coming out of Houston. We got Nico Collins has officially been added to IR, effectively ending his season. Him and Brandon Cooks have not been playing as of late, so Chris Moore has been the guy out there in Houston. Nico Collins not going to finish out the rest of the season. Nothing really to play for, so it makes sense to just help him get healthy. In bigger news, though, we've got Derrick Henry didn't practice on Monday, and they're playing on Thursday this week. But the issue is their Week 17 game is not very important. What is important is their Week 18 game against the Jaguars. That's actually going to decide who from that division is going to the playoffs. So, with that being said, there is a chance that Derrick Henry does not play this week in order to rest him and make sure he's better next week because he is sort of nursing a hip injury as of right now. I think it was a hip pointer, maybe something of that nature. But yeah, Derrick Henry could possibly not play next week. So that's something to look out for. Another piece of running back news. Nothing's really been confirmed, hasn't been talked about a whole lot yet, but Josh Jacobs this past week in his post-game interview seemed to be very disgruntled with the team. I'm not saying that he's not going to play this week, but at the same time, I would keep an eye on that situation just to see how the team handles it because I thought some of the stuff he was saying was pretty extreme, in my opinion. Next piece of news out of Miami, we got Mr. Tua Tagovailoa. He is back in concussion protocol during what has been sort of a nightmare season for him. He's got some serious decisions to make going forward in terms of even just his career. Had not been very good for him. He has not been very lucky when it comes to these head injuries this season, and it has been very scary for him. So hoping that, one, he doesn't have a concussion at all and he just clears his protocol, and two, that his health is good going forward. Next, coming out of Tennessee, we got Ryan Tannehill underwent ankle surgery this past week following his injury. They're saying that it is unlikely that he comes back this season, but he is doing everything that he can to make it back this season, given the importance of that Week 18 game and just the overall level of play that Malik Willis has sort of provided for this team has not been good. So Ryan Tannehill doing his best to make it back out there. In other news, in New York, the Jets are expected to actually move on from Zach Wilson following this season. The former second overall pick, has not been working out there. They were saying after his last game, he's just really lost all confidence as a quarterback in itself, and that's just really, really bad, especially at the NFL level. It's something that is tough to regain back. So I don't know what's going to happen with Zach Wilson going forward, if he's going to be on somebody else's team or if he's just going to be out the league. There is a chance he's just out of the league. That's the level of bad he's been. With that being said, Mike White is set to be the starter for, quoted by Robert Salah, however long is left in the Jets season. As you guys know, they've seen some success this season, so it's a possibility they go into the playoffs. If they do, Mike White will continue playing. Not fantasy relevant, but just cool for Mike White. In other news, out in Washington, Taylor Heineke this past weekend was benched for Carson Wentz. The team actually said before the game had started that this was the plan. If Taylor Heineke went out there and struggled, he would get benched for Carson Wentz, and that's what happened. In terms of fantasy impact, I'm not really sure what to make out of this. Jahan Dotson probably gets a bump up because he was a favorite target of Carson Wentz when he played. We don't really know who's going to be the starter going into this week, so it really could be either one of these two. Ron Rivera said, they're going to review tape and see. So keep an eye out on that. I don't know if you're really relying on any Washington Commanders if you made it to the championship, but it's definitely a situation to keep an eye on if you are. Mr. Hunter Henry was ruled out of Saturday's game with a knee injury. He's now being considered day-to-day with some soreness. They're saying he has a good chance of playing. Jonnu Smith was also hurt during this game, but not as much news on him yet, saying it was a head injury, I believe. So see if he's in protocol, anything like that, or if it is just literally like a head injury of some sort. Coming out of Seattle, Travis Homer was injured and did not return to the game. This isn't big in terms of like, Travis Homer, but it may be a bump up for Kenneth Walker going forward if you have him on your championship squad. It could be a slight bump up, especially in the passing game, but again, you're going to start your studs. This is championship week, so don't get too cute. Tackle Lyle Collins for the Cincinnati Bengals injured his knee this past weekend. It was initially believed that his ACL was still intact and he had avoided major injury. I think Ian Rappaport is saying that his knee had moved but then shifted back into the right place. But we have since learned that he has torn his MCL and ACL, effectively ending his season. So hoping for a speedy recovery for Mr. Lyle Collins. Going over to Philly, we got Jalen Hurts. According to reports, is going to push to play this week after the loss to the Cowboys. This is actually something that he said before the game as well, that if Philly lost, he wanted to push to play. But if they won, that he was okay with sitting and recovering another week. But, since they did lose, he does want to go back out there. Staying with the Eagles, right tackle Lane Johnson suffered a groin/abdominal injury that will effectively end his regular season. It's to be determined on his playoff status and when he'll be available again, but pretty big loss for the Eagles' offensive line this late in the season. But we'll see how that really does affect them going forward. Going over to Chicago, we got Mr. Justin Fields. Hurt his foot on the last throw of the game. Says he'll be good to go, and the team doesn't plan on shutting him down going forward. I will say this is something that is starting to concern me a little bit in terms of his durability. He's been somebody who's constantly or consistently been dealing with injury, especially since he's taken this leap up. But hopefully the team can take more precautions to take some of that load away from him going forward, especially with just the riches they have going into this offseason. So while it is a concern of mine, I hope that they can find ways to mitigate this by putting talent around him, which I think they are planning on doing. Going over to Green Bay, we got Christian Watson has injured his hip this weekend. I believe it was a hip flexor injury of some sort. He's been given the day-to-day designation. They're treating it as if it's not super serious, so there's a chance he comes back soon. Sticking with wide receivers, Mr. Jerry Jeudy out of Denver injured his ankle during the game, but was able to return to action. So I'm pretty sure he's good going forward. Keep an eye on it just in case the team does decide to check him out and shut him down, or if anything develops. But he should be okay going forward. Sticking with Denver, it's about time that Nathaniel Hackett, he is finally out of there after what has been a disappointing season, to say the very least. Jerry Rosburg is set to be the head coach in the interim. I believe Jerry Rosburg brought in to be a clock management specialist by Nathaniel Hackett, so kind of interested to see how this team is handled moving forward. I don't know who's going to be in charge of what or what a clock management specialist really is, but hey, Jerry Rosburg, let's see if you can help turn things around a little bit. Staying out in Denver, Greg Dulcich left the game with a hamstring injury. We haven't really gotten a whole lot of updates on that, so if you're dependent on Greg Dulcich at the tight end position, start looking into some other alternative options because he may not be available this week. Right tackle Tristan Wirfs of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-aggravated his ankle injury, so he may miss some time. But however, they might be getting their left tackle Donovan Smith back soon. So there's been a lot of movement, a lot of moving pieces over there in Tampa Bay, with another pretty big game for them deciding their division coming up soon. So it's just going to be interesting to see how that shakes out in the NFC South. This is a note I had, not super fantasy football related, but I just thought it was a really cool story. Budda Baker, safety for the Arizona Cardinals, played with a fractured shoulder on Sunday night and did not exit the game. Just shows a lot of heart and character out there. A dude who's out there just giving it his all. But I think that is going to affect him going forward. He's probably going to be done for the remainder of this season. But just a cool story that he was able to go out there and just put on for his team like that. Sticking out in Arizona, the Cardinals are hopeful that Colt McCoy will be back next week. He still needs to clear protocol, but it's looking like it's on the brighter side for him to be able to play next week. And some other people who may be able to return to action soon are Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell. They're progressing well, and they could return to practice this week. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll play, but I don't think if you made it to the fantasy championship, you probably didn't have Deebo on the bench, and you probably don't need to depend on him soon. So I wouldn't really be eager to trot either of them out into my lineup this week. But yeah, with that being said, that's going to go ahead and wrap up our news and injuries for the week. Like I said, I tried to get it out here quick. Thank you guys for watching so much, and thank you guys for supporting us throughout the season. We've been working really hard trying to get these videos out for you guys, and I hope that you have been able to find some value. And if so, and this is your first time watching, maybe even your second, and you just forget to hit that subscribe button, here's your reminder to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, comment, do all those great things to help get us into the algorithm and get our information out there for more people to use it so we can have more fun out here playing fantasy football. If you have any questions going into Champ Week, don't be afraid to drop them down in the comments below. We will answer them. There is no paywall, so if you need any last-minute advice, any reassurance, any just opinions, we'll drop them in the comments below, and we'll let you know what we think. But if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. And as always, we love you, and we will see you again this week. Peace.